These shears have an interesting history. I'm going to read you the letter that went with them and let you take a look at them. And this should be an interesting video. I've got Clate Childers. Clate Childers. I've been calling him Chad all week.
Yeah.
He's been with us all week, 19 years old. And he's got to be, if not the best, one of the best people I've ever trained as far as picking this up and catching on with it. So look out, North Carolina. He's going to tear you up. But I'm going to talk through what's I'm seeing on here. I'm going to read you the letter that went with them, and I'm going to let you fix them. How's that?
Okay, I'll try.
And he just learned Monday, and today's Friday, right? Mm-hmm. Hi, you need the history on these shears. The pet groomer has 3 pairs of these thinners. All were new and have never been sharpened. All have the same nick in the blade. Groomer does not know why, but suspects it must be her technique. So I sharpened these. I put too much of an angle on them, and was able to get the nick out, but they keep catching and re-nicking the blade. I never touched the combed edge. I read you the letter. Let me show you what's going on here. When you close them, they catch right here. And a couple of things I see right off the bat. Number one, look at the ride line. See, we got ride line here, ride line there. Makes me think possibly it's out of alignment. Wide ride line, thin here. This is a Foxy Roxy. Clate, look it up on your phone and see what this scissor would sell for. Foxy Roxy, it doesn't have a number. Oh, yes, it does. Foxy Roxy Phoenix. So that kind of tells you something about what the price is. So a couple of things I see right off the bat, and I'm pretty sure we can fix it and we know what's going on with it. Number one, the groomer probably cuts really wide with a lot of side pressure. More so than other groomers that have this scissor, so that's causing part of the problem. Is that it? $129. So it's not a cheap scissor, but it's not, you know, top of the line. Okay, as I said, I saw a couple of things right off the bat. Hand me your magnifier there. Yeah, you can see it looks like one tooth is a little bit broken, but yeah, you can see it sparkle in there a little bit. So what do we want to look at? This part here?
This is going to show all the nicks in the bad ride line.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you can definitely see the nicks here. I have to zoom in. Yeah, I think we can see it. And we might be able to see it even just zooming in super close like this. I think you can see that ride line craziness. And if I turn this back and forth to the light, there's like one little tooth that sparkles out right there. So there's 2 things going on here. It's nicking here and it's got a nick over there. The other thing that I'm seeing right off the bat, when I take my nails, now you know why I had to go get my nails done today before we do this. I'm rough on my nails. Hey, and we got green and green, I'm matching. Yeah, it's March. I can feel a burr pushed to the outside edge. I think like I've had 4 videos this month with this same issue. You've got to make sure, especially on these beveled edges, that you haven't pushed a burr to the outside. You've got to remove it. Either go back to your machine, use some kind of hand stone, something other, but if that burr is still there, not only doesn't cut well, but it can come in and it can nick this side on the teeth, and as he said, he didn't do anything to the teeth. We're gonna have to do something with the teeth. I'm thinking we might use maybe some little diamond paddles to by hand. Go in and fix this. So we're going to resharpen it, and then we're going to do a thing called ramping. And Clate's a lot better looking than me. Okay, so how are you going to start there?
All right, the first thing we're going to do is take our parts off and make sure to put them in a little cup so we don't lose them. the screw off. There's a little internal clicker plate. And outside screw. And there's a little washer we'll go ahead and pick out of there so we don't lose it. Put those in our cup. And they have some hair under where the screws was, so we'll clean that off with some alcohol. Alright, and this ride line is pretty bad, so we normally start on the 4000, but I think we're going to need to start on the 1000 for this one. So we'll take our marker and mark our ride line so we know where we're hitting on the stone. These are water stones, so we want to make sure we wet them good. Alright, right-handed shears, so put the handle to the right side and put most of the pressure right over the pivot point. Make sure the whole blade is on the stone and just a little bit of pressure on the tip. See what we're doing. Alright, so we're hitting back here where it's rough and we're hitting out at the tip, but we've just barely made any line in the middle, so I'm going to do that just a little bit more. Alright, so now we have, it's not a great one, but we have made contact with the ride line all the way across the edge. We'll do the tooth side. Yeah, the tooth side has a pretty nice looking ride line, so that's all we need to do. So we'll flip it over to the 4000 grit and hit it a little bit just to smooth it up.
It's alcohol. Alcohol.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget which spray bottle has alcohol in it.
Wet it down good. Yeah, if you spray it with alcohol, it dries out that stone too fast.
Okay, so we have both ride lines polished to 4000 grit now. Alright, now what angle are you thinking that these should be sharpened at?
He said in the letter that he put too much angle on them. So I'm thinking he made them, I think we need to make them blunter than what's on there. I'm guessing 35, but you could do a scratch test and see what's on there.
Okay, we'll scratch test at 35. Or I got it set at 40. Let's scratch test there and see where that's hitting.
But I think 35, because whenever you have problems, going to a blunter angle is going to be your better choice, not going to something sharper.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and move towards that.
And it's a flat plate, as you know, because it's a beveled edge.
Yes.
What, sharpening came in?
No, she's asking a question about the sharpening you did.
That lady that came on Monday with 5, Asian lady? Oh, it's not? Okay.
You want to pause this? Or
I'm fine though, you can go ahead.
Okay. Alright. So we've got our clamp set at 35 degrees. We want to, if it's loose, it will convex. So we're going to keep that tight since we're just doing a beveled edge on these. Put the blade in at a little bit of an angle, helps you hit the tip. And this blade is really rough. It has a lot of deep nicks. So I'm gonna start with something on the rough side. Here's a piece of, don't know what micron this is. This is 40 micron. All right, let's do a scratch test just to see how close to the angle that we are. Yeah, so on our scratch test we're hitting just at the very edge and not at the back of the bevel. So that means that we're putting a blunter angle on, which will help with it catching. It'll make it feel a little smoother, even though it won't be quite as sharp. All right. That was 2 passes. We're good all the way around the top, but we still have some nicks right there at the bottom, so we'll give that another pass. Almost there. I think we can move to an 800 grit now. This is 800 grit on the flat plate, no cushion. Hitting all the way across, we've got all our nicks out, so now we're just refining that burr, refining that bevel to finer and finer grits. After 800, I believe we can go straight to 2000. $2,000 grit. Alright, we've hit it with the 2000, so now we have our bevel really refined, but we've got a large burr on the back. So let's come back to our water stone. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. A little bit more water. Now we'll lay it back on there, put even pressure. See how it rocks back and forth? You want it, put your pressure on the pivot point to keep it flat. Pull straight back. See that black line on the stone? That's our burr we just took off. Feel and make sure it's all gone. Got just a little bit at the tip. Okay, now we have took that burr off.
I'm back.
All right, we've.
It wasn't a complaint on those shears. It was that she had brought me some really, really old shears, and she didn't think I could sharpen them, and wanted to know if I did. And I said yes, and I got them working. So that was a good interruption.
Okay. So we've took it to 2000 grit, and we just took our burr off. Would you polish these on the polishing wheel, or just leave these?
No, I would not polish them. But what I would do, you probably have burr pushed to the outside. Well, not much.
Hit it with the nail buffer a little bit? Or?
Maybe just the nail buffer, because I'm feeling yeah, I think just the nail buffer. Especially like right down here feels a little rough. But we'll see when we do the ramping. But just I think the nail buffer.
All right. Take that micro burr off with the nail bumper. All right, that feels pretty sharp.
All right, so what we're going to do on this other one, I'm going to walk you through it. First of all, I would try to get that little shiny spot off of the outside of the tube. Do you see that?
Yep.
And probably one of these little, is a little diamond file. I've got them in fine and medium, but just a few strokes. You don't want to take the V's out.
Okay. So I've found if you point the scissors straight at your eye, you can look down it and see that angle where it's at, so you can get that same angle.
And you know that because you've been doing knives, right?
Yeah, that's what I do on knives if I need to touch them a little bit.
Did that little spot go away?
Well, it's not going to go completely away because the whole chunk of the corner has been taken out. We'd have to do quite a bit of grinding to remove it. We would definitely remove the V to take all of that chunk out, but maybe we can polish it a little bit.
Okay, so is the little sparkly thing gone though?
I believe so. It's actually, if you look really close, those little V's are like this. Mm-hmm. They've tried to close the scissors so hard, they've actually squeezed that V together.
Ooh.
So that V has been like tightened together.
I mean, if we have to, we're going to try ramping it and see if that fixes it. But if we have to, we can actually go in with a Dremel or something and take those teeth out.
Okay.
So they don't cut at all. That would be like the last resort.
Right. So what do you want me to ramp it with?
I'm thinking the ceramic stone, that little white stone or pink stone that you've got.
Okay. Would the flat of the arc cone work? The flat?
Yeah, that probably would work. That would probably work just as well. So, to explain why ramping will work, and don't ramp the whole blade, just the area where there's a problem.
Okay, so each of those little teeth are like V's, and when the hair goes in the V, then it gets shaved off. So none of this up here is cutting, just the bottom of the V is what's cutting. So if we take the flat front of this face and angle it back, we've actually sharpened the bottom of that V where it's going to be cutting the hair. So we don't want to, if we ramp too steep, we'll be cutting the bottom of the V off. Or if we ramp too steep the other way, we won't even touch the bottom of the V. So we want to get just that right angle to come in and to angle it slightly to sharpen the bottom of the V to cut the hair, and that'll also help with it pinching. But like Bonnie said, we don't want to do it no more than we have to. We're just going to come in here right at the back and ramp a little bit.
Okay, so let's ramp them and then we'll put them together and see if that fixes them. And if not, we can do something more drastic. But that should fix it.
I'm watching my angle, watching how deep I'm going. This stone's pretty fine, it's not very aggressive. All right, go just a little more. I think we're making progress.
And really, I mean, if that back part doesn't cut, but yet it doesn't pull or catch, it's okay. I mean,
all right, we've done a little bit. Let's try that and see how that works.
Okay.
So they're ready to go back together?
Yeah.
I'll wipe them off a little bit.
I'm wondering, while we got them apart, I'm wondering while you've got that flat stone, if you want to kind of go over that a little bit more just to make sure it's good and smooth. I don't know. Might not hurt, but I mean, there's definitely some crazy stuff going on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just kind of in that area a little bit, yeah.
All right, we're just trying to smooth that up.
Mm-hmm. And make sure you didn't push your burr to the other side. Kind of feel for it.
I did just a little bit. All right. So the first thing is our washer, and these are cone shaped, so they need to go in the right way. Screw. Put our teeth blade on. Internal clicker plate, make sure the knots are pointing up towards you. And our nut. I'm just gonna tighten this till I think it's gonna be about right.
Why don't you do your first cut on this perm paper?
There.
See what happens.
Take some perm paper.
Hope it doesn't catch.
Okay, we're catching but farther up. So
Okay.
we was catching back here, and now we're catching towards the middle. But remember, I only ramped it back here, so maybe it needs
Yeah,
ramped.
go ahead and ramp it a little bit further on up. And most likely this groomer has a really heavy hand. Has a really strong hand. A lot of them do, because they're having to pick up these dogs and do all this work with their shears, but
All right, let's try that.
you can push the blades apart, and then as you open them, that'll push anything out. Is it catching?
It's not catching right now. If I don't put any side tension, it won't catch. But if I push with my thumb just a little bit, it does catch.
Yeah. Let me feel it. See what we might do. Oh, that feels a whole lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Hand me some of that hair over there. Little bit of folding there. See that? I'm feeling teensy burr right there. They're just it right. I'm gonna just. This is how I first learned to sharpen. Was just stones. I'm just lightly going up just in case there's burr right there. All right.
Would it help to do that on the teeth side too?
Possibly. There might be a burr on the teeth side. You're right. I do feel a little bit there. And this is just like this much pressure. I mean, you don't even
Not
feel
much.
that hardly.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Just lightly.
Diamonds are pretty aggressive.
Yeah. We sell these paddles. My next video, I'm going to be using them too. Still pulls a little bit.
That's a lot better than it was.
But I'm gonna consider this fixed. Let's try it on a little bit of fur.
All right.
Just to be sure. Kind of pull it up a little bit. It's not perfect. But oh,
You put a
it
little
caught
more
on it.
tension.
Did you see it catching on me?
Mm-hmm.
There, I got it to do it again on that tooth.
So you think we should ramp a little more?
Which tooth was it?
It was one of them first 5 right there.
It seems like it's only when she's going to be cutting thick hair. See, that's where it's catching, right there. That tooth
That
right
very
there.
first one, second one.
When I'm kind of going in here on this thicker hair,
All right.
right there. I can't make it do it without this in my hand. Well, now it quit doing it. See if you can make it do it. Just cut some of this fur and see if it catches up on you.
It's not really doing it bad on me. When I'm cutting, it's not. It's halfway doing its thing. It might be doing it to the best of its ability.
All right, well, we can call that good enough and let it go.
Okay.
But I think anybody that's cutting thick hair with it with a heavy hand is going to have a problem. But can we call that a moderate success?
I think so. Let me look at this one tooth right here. What's happened is these teeth are really square, and now one corner's completely chipped off. So no matter how much you grind it, it's always going to be like a little bit catching right there. The scissors have been kind of broken, so for us to be able to get them to cut as good as they do is kind of a miracle.
What he could do, we'll send them back like they are. Let's do this. Let's send them back like they are, and if he has more problems with them,
I just hit that a little bit right there, and now I can't get it to catch it all.
okay, he can do some more ramping. If he has a little bit of problem with it, he could actually take a Dremel or something and go in and just make it look like a snaggletooth scissor, and just take that tooth all the way off. Mm-hmm. And you'd have to bring it down far enough where it's not catching over here, so it's catching hair or something. But you could just take that tooth out. But
just the one tooth, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, that's not bad.
All right, so we'll call that done.
All right.
And believe it or not, this is the first time he's ever done any ramping. Even though he was very knowledgeable and explained it, you knew what to do.
Well, she explained it to me first.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.